Here's an AMI This Week shortcut with Chris Vallée.
In 2021, the City of Ottawa saw over 500,000 rides in its second year of the e-scooter rental pilot project. But even with its popularity, members of the disability community have brought attention to the safety and accessibility concerns of the program to the City of Ottawa. Today, I'm meeting up with Kate Ricomini in Ottawa's Byward Market. Kate is the program lead for advocacy and accessible community engagement at the CNIB.
Hi, Kate.
Hello.
As a person with sight loss and a white cane user, Kate has been a vocal critic of how the e-scooter rental pilot project in its first 2 years wasn't doing enough for the safety and accessibility of people with disabilities.
I'd kind of heard a little bit about the program, didn't think much about it until I was walking down the street, doing some errands, and I ran into an e-scooter that had been parked on the sidewalk. Luckily, I wasn't hurt. I didn't actually trip and fall, but it was definitely a surprise. And the e-scooter program then kind of became a lot more important in my head because, well, there might be e-scooters whenever I walk around that I now have to watch out for. There are two main safety risks involved with the e-scooter project. The first one is misparked e-scooters. So the way the program is set up, riders could end their trip basically anywhere, and they were supposed to park their e-scooters off to the side out of the path of travel, but very often didn't do that. So you would be walking down the sidewalk and there would be an e-scooter parked either completely on the sidewalk, blocking it, or sometimes they would be parked half on the sidewalk, so someone clearly tried to park them correctly and didn't really think about it, so you still have the back wheel jutting into the sidewalk being a tripping hazard. Probably easier to miss because it's low to the ground. And then we also found a couple of them, people would park them next to APS buttons and lean them against the pole so you couldn't get to the audible pedestrian signal. The second major issue was people riding on the sidewalks. They are not supposed to ride on the sidewalks, but plenty of people did anyway. And because the e-scooters are relatively silent, you couldn't even hear them coming. So it's, dangerous.
Jeff Leeper is the Ottawa City Councillor for Kitchissippi Ward and was originally a vocal supporter of the e-scooter project, but acknowledges that while there have been some hits with the program, there have also been misses.
So far the results on the e-scooter program have been kind of mixed. There are two reactions to them. There are a lot of people in the city who have immediately taken to scooters as a way of getting around that doesn't require them to have a private automobile, that is relatively inexpensive. They're fun, they're convenient, they're all over the place. And at the same time, it's introduced new problems for the accessibility community and others who are finding that, in fact, it diminishes their ability to move around their city.
Some of the new features introduced in this third pilot year is the ban on sidewalk riding and sidewalk parking. For those who are blind and partially sighted, there is also a Braille code here that informs you if the scooter is misparked. This is the number in which you have to reach. It is located under the scooter handles. There's also an audible signal. Once you move the scooter or it's misparked, it also informs you of the number. That way you can hear it and dial it.
If your scooter is not parked correctly, please call us at 866-995-8770.
Even with some of these additional features, Kate remains skeptical as the technology has yet to be proven.
In terms of technology to prevent sidewalk parking and riding, I think this is a good step. However, I do worry about how much reliance is being placed on this technology.
Ultimately, this is a make it or break it year for the e-scooter pilot, and we will have to see if the new features are enough to ensure the safety and accessibility of the disability community.
This really is the last chance. If we have another season like we've had for the past 2 years, characterized by a flood of complaints about misparked scooters, a flood of complaints about sidewalk riding, I don't think council is going to be willing to extend permission for another year.
I applaud them for, looking for environmentally friendly ways of transport. I think that's a very, good initiative, but that cannot come at the expense of vulnerable pedestrians like people with disabilities.